It's time to speak about DHCP for IP version 6, and here we have the new terminology like SLAAC, which stands for Stateless Address Autoconfiguration. Stateless means that there is no spatial control on what IP address in version 6 of IP is used by your computer. And when your computer is configured with the auto configuration, then your computer is sending an IP version 6 all routers multicast. Your computer is sending a multicast request to all routers if there are multiple routers. And this message is called router solicitation, which stands for the, like in IP version 4 it was DHCP discovery, but here it is called router solicitation. I need a router advertisement from the router, says computer, and then our router gives reply, and reply is RA, which stands for the DHCP offer, router advertisement. Here's your prefix length and other information, which is also sent by the multicast. Well, when our router gives reply, we can have a different variants. And by the way, let's just take a look for just some information about our RS and RA messages. When a client is configured to obtain its address information automatically using SLAAC stateless address auto-configuration, the client sends RS message to the router, and RS message sent to IP version 6 all routers multicast. It is sent to this spatial multicast IP address. And router advertisement RA message, which comes from the router. So RA messages are sent by routers to provide addressing information to clients configured to obtain their IP address automatically. The RA message includes the prefix and the prefix length of the local segment. A client uses this information to create its own IP version 6 global unicast address, and a router sends an RA message periodically or in response to RS message. By default, Cisco router sends RA message every 200 seconds, and RA messages are always sent to IP version 6 all nodes multicast address FF, O2 and 1. So that as you see from the information about the RA, when your router gives reply to the client, it is saying that, for example, in our router we have configured port like 2001 AAA with prefix 64. This is IP address of our router interface gigabit 01. And when our router makes reply to PC1, it is making an offer like, you can get this beginning of the address, but at the end, so we have here 64 bits, and the end 64 bits you can use with your MAC address, or as you remember, EUI64. So it is generation of the IP address according to the MAC address. So it can get the MAC address of the network interface card, divided into two parts, and between the MAC address part it will place a spatial value FF, FE. Here is the one part of MAC address, here is another part of the MAC address, and here is the beginning of the address which been provided by the router. And this kind of address will be generated by the computer itself. And when this computer will generate this IP address, it will try to define, maybe someone else is using such kind of IP address, and to check that do we have any duplicated IP address or not. Before it can use this IP address, our computer will send the unicast communication to this address, and if this unicast communication will not be successful, it means that there is no duplicated IP addresses. But in case if our unicast communication will be successful, then reply will come to PC1, and PC1 will define that, alright, this IP address I cannot use, let me change it out. But there is too few probability that this IP address will be used. Why? Because as you know, MAC addresses by default are unique, and it means that approximately our generated IP addresses will be unique too. Alright, and here is our SLAAC operation. And as you see here, we have some information about EUI. And actually, I think that everything which is described here, I described it in previous slide. But we have to see here that if a neighbor advertisement is received by PC1, then the address is not unique. So it means that if the packet, if reply came from this unicast address, this process is the part of ICMP version 6 neighbor discovery, and it's known as the duplicated address detection. This process is called DAD. Alright, and let's take a look for the options of the array messages. So as you already know, our client is sending RS message, router solicitation message, and the reply can be shown us by using three ways. Array variant 1, option 1, SLAAC only, which is used by default. It is that variant which I showed you, that our router, without the help of the DHCP server, is giving reply, and our computer is generating IP address by itself, and the prefix, I mean the beginning of the IP address and the prefix is given by the router itself. And router is not making a tracking, is not making the monitoring who took IP address, at what time took IP address, so that there will not be a renewal process for the PC1, because it is a stateless, without control. Also, there can be stateless DHCP, SLAAC and DHCP together. It means that your server will say that, your router will say that use this beginning of the IP address, but additional information you can find out from the DHCP server. And the last option is Stateful DHCP version 6, which is same as IP version 4 DHCP. And here we have two flags which are defining these options. Flag managed address, or flag M, and flag other configuration, flag O. If in our if there will be first variant, then flag M will be equal to 0, and flag O will be equal to 0 too. So it means that our router will say that this information I will give it by myself. I will give you IP address and prefix, and I will also give you additional information, like I will give you information about the gateway, I will give you information about the DNS server too, all from me. Whereas the second variant, M value will be equal to 0, but O will be equal to 1. It means that IP address I will give you, but additional information go and take from the DHCP server. And the third variant, M will be equal to 1 and O will be equal to 1. We even don't need to configure O if our M is configured as 1. So let's take a look for the commands which we can give in our router configuration, so that when we want to define flag 0 in first variant, then we have to type no IP version 6 network discovery ND manage configuration flag. It means that it will make such kind of thing, M will be equal to 0. No IP version 6 ND other config flag, O will be equal to 0. This is first variant. Get all information from me. I mean, you will not contact, so server say that, I mean router say to computer, you don't need to contact the DHCP server, everything from me, but you will generate your IP address by yourself. Whereas stateless DHCP version 6 option, so it means that you will use SLAAC and DHCP. In this case, M is equal to 0, O is equal to 1. Then you have to just configure IP version 6 ND other config flag. So O is equal to 1. And what will be happening? Your computer will contact server. Server will say that, okay, generate this IP address by yourself, but also contact to DHCP server, and your client will make contact to DHCP server and get all other information from the DHCP server, like gateway information and DNS server's IP address. And the last one, stateful, it's same as you are using an IP version 4 DHCP. So your client will make request to server. Server will say that, okay, I will not help you, go and take information from DHCP server. And your computer will contact DHCP server, and everything will be taken from the DHCP server. To make this configuration on the server, you have to type IP version 6 ND managed config flag, which will create, which will generate flag M, which will be equal to 1. And then when your computer is making the request, so if DHCP operation is used by you, so like if your flag M is equal to 1, then after your client made up request to the router, your client have to make a solicit. It is same as, so I'll write here what is looking like in IP version 4. It is DHCP discover, and then advertise. It is same as in DHCP version 4, DHCP offer, and request is same as DHCP request, and reply is same as DHCP acknowledgement. Well, how you can make configuration of stateless DHCP on the router? Well, you just need to, first of all, you have to turn on functionality of the IP version 6 unicast routing, because by default your router is not able to make routing with the IP version 6. So this command is just turning on, like enabling IP version 6 routing. Then you will create the pool as you did it on IP version 4, and you will say that DNS server like this, domain name is looking like this, and then in IP in the interface of gigabit 01 here, so you'll write this command IP address like this and IP version 6 DHCP server, and you will define this pool name. and then you are saying that, alright, so IP version 6 and the other config flag, so that this command is making flag M0 and flag O, which is equal to 1. So you turn on it by using this command, and by default M is equal to 0. So when the DHCP client will try to communicate with the DHCP server, it will say that, alright, I'm using this. This is the beginning of my MAC IP address, so that generate your own by using your MAC address like EUI64. But additional information you will get from the DHCP server, and DHCP client will contact the DHCP server. So how you can make configuration of the routers as the stateless client? You can type the command IP version 6 enable on the client's interface, and also you can type IP version 6 address autoconfig. And then configuring a router as the stateful DHCP server. So how we can make this configuration? We also make configuration of the pool, and then we are writing address prefix, and this command is actually saying that we will distribute these addresses and DNS server's IP address, and also we are defining the domain name, and then in our interface we are saying that IP version 6 stateful pool will be used here, and then our IP version 6 and the managed configured flag, it means that M is equal to 1, so that our client will get information, full information from the router, including the IP addresses and including the additional information of the DNS server and so on. And how we can make configuration of our DHCP client to work as the DHCP stateful client, we have to just type command IP version 6 address, and before we made up autoconfig, but now we have to make IP version 6 address and DHCP. Verifying stateful DHCP on the server, so we can type the command show IP version 6 DHCP pool, which will show us our pool information. Show IP version 6 DHCP binding, which will show us which MAC address used which IP address, because it is a stateful. And show IP version 6 interface will show you the information about the IP address which is used by the client. So this client took this MAC address from the router, from the DHCP stateful server. Alright, and the same information, same configuration can be done for the relay agent. Like we can make the redirection of our DHCP broadcasts by using IP version 6 DHCP relay and destination. Previously it been in IP version 4 it been configured as IP helper address and then IP address of the DHCP server. But in IP version 6 we are doing it with IP version 6 DHCP relay destination and then IP address of our DHCP server. It's same as if computer wants to make is making broadcast requests, which is limited in this area to gigabit 00, and gigabit 00 will redirect it to this IP address so that our request will reach the DHCP version 6 server. This is the end of the DHCP basic and not so basic configuration of the CCNA course. I hope that this video been informative for you.